The 90s were the golden era of anime, giving us some of the most unforgettable shows of all time. Whether you were trading Pokemon cards, practicing Kamehameha waves, or playing with the merchandise of different robots, the 90s gave us a ton of incredible memories that we still treasure today. In this video, we're going to talk about 15 of the most iconic anime that captured our hearts with thrilling adventures and complex and lovable characters, bringing the worlds of manga live onto our television screens. But we gotta remember, these shows didn't just entertain us, they shaped our cultural fabric. So what are we waiting for? Let's get into this video and take a trip down nostalgic memory lane. But before you do, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more marvelous content. Pokemon 1997. There's no way we can kick off a list of iconic 90s anime without Pokemon right at the top. Inspired by a 1996 game, Pocket Monsters, in Japan, this show became a global sensation, thanks in part due to its debut in 1997 as an anime. Created by Satoshi Tajiri and Ken Sugimori, the series follows Ash Ketchum and his friend Pikachu on their journey to become Pokemon Masters. When a young boy named Ash comes of age and gains the strength to become a Pokemon trainer, his first challenge is a reluctant Pokemon named Pikachu. Still, over time they become best friends and continue their journey to fulfill Ash's dream of becoming a master. Filled with thousands of supernatural creatures called Pokemon, who can be categorized into more than 18 types like fire, psychic, electric, grass, fairy, and more, this show is a global phenomenon that attracts fans worldwide. Due to its universal appeal, memorable characters, adventurous storyline, and childlike qualities, it quickly became a fan favorite. It quickly turned both Ash and Pikachu into pop culture icons. The immense popularity of this franchise has inspired numerous video games, merchandise, live-action movies, and the world's highest-grossing media franchise, with a total asset of $88 billion as its net value. Even after 27 years of release and 25 seasons, Pokemon is still as popular as it was back then among audience members, and it will continue to be a beloved icon for generations to come. Dragon Ball Z, 1989 to 1996. Dragon Ball Z became a worldwide hit, especially in the US, when it got a gun on Cartoon Network's Toonami. But it first gained its popularity when it was released in Japan as a sequel to Dragon Ball, a series that lasted from 1986 to 89. Dragon Ball Z surpassed its predecessor, becoming a beloved anime series worldwide, airing 291 episodes during its run. Featuring the pop culture sensation Goku and his unyielding mission for strength, epic battles, unique superpowers, and jaw-dropping animations with brilliant choreography, Dragon Ball Z is a roller coaster ride that makes you love it from first glance. Goku, a Saiyan warrior, defends planet Earth from a powerful extraterrestrial enemy with the help of the Dragon Balls. He learns about his alien heritage and fights his brother Raditz with the help of his friends. The show showcases the 7 mystical orbs known as the Dragon Balls, which allow one to summon a wish-granting dragon named Shenron who can grant any wish, which is part of why the show was popular among young adults, helping make it a global phenomenon soon after the release of the series. Due to its popularity, the franchise spawned numerous other shows like Dragon Ball Z Kai, Dragon Ball Super, and countless other anime and manga. Much like Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z has also inspired live-action movies and incredible amounts of merchandise, and it's still very popular among younger audiences. Berserk, 1997. Considered one of the most brilliant anime ever made, Berserk is a 10-hour miniseries that tells the story of a rogue warrior named Guts and his brutal life as a mercenary. His struggle from orphan to one of the most skilled and feared warriors in the land was a fan favorite in the 90s, and it holds up today. Set in a brutal medieval-inspired universe, the show blended elements of dark fantasy, horror, and psychological drama, where Guts has to fight for his survival at the hands of a mercenary group led by their unfathomable leader, Griffith. A tale of struggle, sacrifice, and the nature of evil made the show a unique experience from the other anime shows televised around that time. Directed by Naohiro Takahashi, the show's hauntingly beautiful composition by music composer Susumu Hirasawa was also a highlight. This helped the show maintain its dark and gloomy overtones, which were beloved by fans. Like every show, Berserk had some flaws, including its lackluster animation, but it still tops the charts as one of the most iconic animes of the 90s that you should definitely check out. Yu Yu Hakusho, 1992. Yu Yu Hakusho was an unusual show that starts with a shocking twist about the death of its hero, Yusuke Urameshi. Quite a scandalous way to start the story, but his unexpected death, while saving a child from an accident, gives him the power to be a spirit detective, a position that the afterlife authorities grant him, which allows him to investigate supernatural instances in the human world and deal with vengeful spirits that want to destroy the peace of the mortal world. The show was a massive success among anime fans. It inspired a media franchise that produced 2 animated films, a live-action TV series, video games, and a whole schwack of merchandise. Yusuke's journey from a brash, misunderstood youth to a responsible and empathetic hero was the selling point of the show, which showcased a compelling and relatable story for the audience. It was also a dark, humorous show that didn't shy away from showcasing the true nature of human beings and portrayed death, sacrifice, loyal friendship, and redemption in the shadows of supernatural occurrences, which helped to create a loyal fan base for the show. Sailor Moon, 1992. When a young girl named Usagi encounters a mysterious magical talking cat named Luna, she gives Usagi a magical brooch that transforms her into the guardian of love and justice. This launches her into a new world filled with evil forces and enemies with whom she must fight to establish peace among her people. She also has to find the other guardians who have been chosen as her companions during this dangerous journey. This show personified the meaning of self-discovery, empowerment, and friendships for the characters in the show. Usagi and her friends, Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, and Venus, along with her lover, Tuxedo Mask, are now considered a cultural phenomenon due to their influence over a generation of young adults who still love this show to its core. Sailor Moon is also one of Japan's most successful media franchises, with over $1.5 billion worth of products. Many media outlets have repeatedly rated it a popular anime. Cowboy Bebop, 1998. If you're a fan of Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, this 1998 show might look familiar. Much like the Guardians, Cowboy Bebop tells the story of space-traveling bounty hunters in 2071 who are on a mission to chase down space criminals across the solar system on their spaceship, the Bebop. The members of this team are Spike Spiegel, a former hitman with a troubled past, a police officer named Jet Black, who has a mechanical arm and is the captain of the ship, Faye Valentine, a seductive and cunning woman, Edward, a funny teenager, and a genetically enhanced corgi with human-like intelligence named Ein. That last one sounds kind of familiar. Rest assured, the dog does not have a gun. This anime also follows similar themes, such as existential questions about identity, purpose, and longing. Each character has a past and journey that makes them equally important to the story and makes them famous among viewers from different demographics. The popularity of this show gave rise to a live-action series in 2021, along with video games, anime films, and a proposed live-action film starring Keanu Reeves as the main protagonist, Spike Spiegel. Eon Genesis Evangelion, 1995. This anime is set in a futuristic world that suffered a global catastrophe called the Second Impact due to the rise of a monstrous race known as Angels. The world is trying its best to fight these evil beings with the help of Evangelion biomachines, which are the only way to defeat the Angels. In the meantime, the leader of the Japanese paramilitary force, Gendo Ikari, summons his only son, Shinji Ikari, to come to Tokyo and help fight the war. Shinji, who spent most of his childhood in a rural area, comes to the city and joins his father's forces with a lot of excitement, but little did he know just what exactly he was signing up for. This new chapter in his life takes him down a difficult path of war and struggle, where the fate of the world relies on him. The Dangerous Angels are a powerful race with a potent force field that makes them difficult to kill, but Shinji has to kill 14 of them to save the world from being destroyed. Released in 1995, this series gained critical acclaim for its story, animation, and direction, and was dubbed one of the greatest anime ever made. The show became so successful that Evangelion machines generated 700 billion yen and inspired countless anime films and video games thanks to their popularity. Digimon Adventure, 1999. In the world of anime, we know that most of the film versions are inspired by TV shows, but in the case of Digimon Adventures, the series took a different approach and inspiration from a movie already in production. The makers also made it possible to release the show before the film in theaters and televise the original release from 1999 to 2000. Though the show has inspired several subsequent films and one reboot series in 2020, the 1999 show is still beloved by millions of fans worldwide. Summer camps are one of the most memorable experiences for many children during their childhood, but what if you're being teleported into a digital world where you get to befriend some vicious monsters to fight with your enemies? Sounds pretty interesting. With a unique concept like this, Digimon Adventures was brought to life by writer Satoru Nishizono, who, along with director Hiroyuki Kakuro, made an excellent show for kids that would later become a fan favorite. In the show, 7 kids are teleported into a digital world through a device called the Digivice. In this world, they befriend monsters called Digimon to help combat their enemies, and of course, save the digital world from destruction. This show was a massive success in both the East and West. It became such a roaring success that in the US, it was considered the spiritual successor to Pokemon. Though the show was made for much younger audiences, ranging from 3 to 11, it's now considered a cult classic for its nostalgic vibes. Cardcaptor Sakura, 1998. Magic and magical powers don't always come in handy. In most modern fairy tales, they're often found by our beloved protagonists by accident. For example, Lucy finds Narnia hiding in a wardrobe and Alan finds Jumanji's game while running away from his bullies. But it's safe to say that magic always comes at a price and demands something in return as a sacrifice for your game. This is what exactly Cardcaptor Sakura is all about. When a young girl named Sakura Kinomoto finds a deck of magical cards in the basement of her house, she unknowingly releases the power of the cards called Clow Cards. But this incident changes her life and gives her the power to control these magical cards, which she can use to perform all sorts of magic for herself. Though the series version of these cards is way better than those in the original manga, they perform similar kinds of magic throughout the show. But, as we already discussed, every magical power comes with some clauses. These cards hold a range of powerful spells that can enslave you for eternity. But, over time, Sakura uses her skills to become the most powerful being to possess and use the Clow Cards for good. Cardcaptor Sakura is a fun memory for most of its viewers, and it gives new meaning to the shoujo manga genre, especially since it became a top-rated series among younger audiences for its fun and magical aspects. Fushigi Yugi, 1995. Featuring the 4 mythological gods of China, Azure Dragon, Vermilion Bird, White Tiger, and Black Tortoise, this series tells the story of 2 girls, Miyaka Yuki and Yui Hingo. The story begins with both girls being sucked into a book called The Universe of the 4 Gods and finding themselves in ancient China, where Miyaka gets stuck as the priestess of the Suzaku and is given the task of gathering the 7 warriors of the god, but her friend Yui is transported back to the real world real soon. Miyaka finds love with one of the warriors on her journey, but contrary to Miyaka, Yui tries to help get her friend back to the real world, becomes a priestess to the god Seiryu out of her jealousy towards Miyaka's love life, and becomes the show's antagonist. This was another popular show in the shoujo genre among younger women. Due to its strong characters, fantasy elements, romance, and the rivalry between Miyaka and Yui, it became one of the most watched shoujo animes of the 90s. It's also inspired many films, video games, and stage musicals that are still popular in Japan. Mobile Suit Gundam Wing, 1995. Suppose you're unaware of the popular Gundam series. You might need a brief introduction before getting into this popular Japanese series that wasn't as popular as Battlestar Galactica or Star Wars in the West. Gundam is a huge media franchise in Japan that's popularized some very memorable mangas, films, video games, and merchandise. Gundams are large humanoid vehicles, much like Transformers, that are designed to fight in battle. After a series of successful runs, Mobile Suit Gundam Wing was released in 1995 as a 6th installment with a new storyline. This new storyline featured a battle between these genetically enhanced machines and dangerous space enemies to save the Earth. Described as a grand space opera, this series, as well as its merchandise, is insanely popular among Japanese viewers. Even so, by 2022, the sale of these toys would be high as 102 billion yen. The battle sequences, amazing animation, and fantasy elements are why people love it so much. This is one of the few 90s anime that's still incredibly relevant today due to its futuristic approach, even almost 3 decades after its release. Rurouni Kenshin, 1996. There have been numerous folklore and modern interpretations of samurai in Japanese culture. They've been considered long-lasting heroes in Japanese folklore and are universally famous for their swordsmanship and loyalty. Similarly, Rurouni Kenshin is a 1996 anime that further popularized these faith keepers through the fantastic story of Kenshin Himura. Created by Nobuhiro Watsuki, the show takes us on an unforgettable journey through Meiji-era Japan, blending historical drama with action and heartening moments loved by millions of fans. The story was so successful that, even before the show's release, the manga sold more than 70 million copies, thus making it one of the best-selling mangas ever. The story follows Kenshin Himura, a former political activist, or shishi, who arrives in Tokyo during the 1880s after spending years in the rural areas of Japan as a nomad. After arriving in the city, he starts teaching at a swordsmanship institute as a master after meeting a woman named Kamiya Kaoru. But even after he tries his best to forget his past life, his reputation as one of the most violent political activists never really stops following him. Suddenly, his opponents from his past start attacking him to kill him for their best interest, but due to his highly skilled sword fights, his journey carries him in a different direction all over again. In the 90s, it became a top-rated show due to its intense drama and its story of redemption, forgiveness, the psyche of a warrior, and the fantastic fight sequences. Great Teacher Onizuka, GTO, 1999. Teachers are the most influential people in every student's life, except maybe our parents and family members during our childhood. They provide education and emotional support, and they guide us through academic and personal challenges. They also hold the power to shape our futures by giving us moral and civic values and helping us realize our true potential. The Great Teacher Onizuka is a story of one such teacher who transforms from a goon into the most outstanding teacher ever. Initially televised from 1999 to 2000, this series has been widely considered one of the best ever, with an IMDb rating of 8.5. The show's story takes us on a journey with Eikichi Onizuka, a perverted former biker gang member with a low-grade graduation degree in education. Due to his routine involvement in minor criminal activities, he has little hope of succeeding in his career. However, his life turns upside down when an incident changes his perspective on life. Determined to become a successful teacher and earn respect from his students, he sets out on a new path. Onizuka takes us on a journey where we learn the importance of life, the essential things we need to have, and how we need to lead our lives in his perverted yet adventurous style. It's a journey that we have to admire, a journey that we don't regret, and a journey of laughter, which is what GTO is all about. Friday, 1998. On a deserted planet in the distant future, we see a shooter named Vash the Stampede. Due to his vicious nature and criminal past, he's feared by everyone on the planet and has earned a bounty of $60 billion on his head, courtesy of the government. Due to his cruel nature and his supernatural powers, he was nicknamed the Humanoid Typhoon after destroying an entire city. Meanwhile, 2 insurance agents are hired to track him down and keep an eye on him to mitigate the damages he's caused. Meanwhile, the problem arises when the agents fail to recognize Vash due to his discretion. This anime is full of strange twists and turns. We get to see Vash's troubled past, and the makers of the show have tried to make it one of the best backstories in anime ever. It takes Vash through a journey of good and evil, his struggle for survival, and his morals. This exciting journey will instantly make you fall in love with it. Every episode of this show is full of mystery and unfolds some secrets about the lead character that give you goosebumps throughout the series. If you love anime, check this one out as soon as possible. Outlaw Star, 1998. The last film on our list is the 1998 anime Outlaw Star, created by Hajime Yatate and Takahiko Ito. This adventure space opera tells the story of Gene Starwind and his crew of an inherited spaceship called Outlaw Star as they set out on a journey for legendary treasure in outer space known as Galactic Leyline. The story begins with Gene Starwind, an arrogant yet delightful guy, and his younger, more level-headed partner, Jim Hawking. These two go on odd jobs to earn their living until a mysterious woman named Hilda crashes into their lives and changes them for good. With her enigmatic personality, Hilda makes both guys set out on a mission with the help of her treasure map to outer space to obtain the precious material Dragonite, an energy source that allows spacecraft to travel faster than the speed of light. Though it's not as iconic as some of the other anime on this list, it's a popular show that's inspired tons of merchandise, novels, and CDs that many viewers still love today. Marvelous Verdict. The biggest and most obvious reason why we still love 90s anime is simple. They've given us some unforgettable stories, characters, and memories that we just can't get enough of. For example, who didn't dream of going on an epic adventure with Ash and Pikachu, or training to be as strong as Goku? These shows were all about friendship, determination, and having a blast, making them instant classics, even almost 30 years after their release. Even though the technology wasn't as good as today's VFX-driven world, the animation was just as impressive for viewers in the 90s. But if you ask us why they're still relevant, the answer is, these shows didn't just entertain us, they shaped us, set the bar for what anime could be, and left us with nostalgic memories that we'll cherish forever. That's all we got for you today, but if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more marvelous content. Stay safe out there, thanks for watching, and have a marvelous day.